For 12 straight years, I used a Knownhost VPS for my business and personal websites, and this reviews my experience with them. From this screenshot, you can see my first contact with them was on the 11th of October 2011. That's 13 years ago. And this first ticket was answered in 3 hours. I signed up for my first VPS plan 3 days later, and this was my first server with them. So let's talk about the support. Support was the issue that chased me from the previous hosting company. They have a reptile as a mascot. That's all I'm going to say. And they're still in business. So for support, 1 year in to using the Knownhost VPS, that was in October 2012, I started having serious security issues. Back then, my knowledge on server maintenance, server management was limited, so I had to pay server management company to harden the server. But quickly, we learned how to do that in-house at my business and didn't need that service anymore. I think that was the biggest support issue I had in the 12 years. So over time, support has been fast. Tickets get answered in less than 30 minutes, and that's considering the time zones because I'm at the GMT time zone. They're in the US in the CS Central Time. So for the support is in-house. The support I've encountered so far is in-house. It's not outsourced. The support agents I've encountered too are really knowledgeable, so much that there are issues where I can fix and I'll just rather open a support ticket because it will be faster with them than getting around to fixing it. So I honestly, for downtime and outages, I honestly don't really remember any downtime, at least for the servers for the locations or the data centers where my servers were hosted over the past 12 years. I know some people mentioned one in Seattle a little while ago, but that didn't affect me because I didn't have any server there. And every issue I had over the 12 years was fully resolved. So I think one other thing I would point out is I've had a few support operators, especially the new ones, since I moved from a VPS, being a little condescending, but I've always corrected them, put them in their place. So I think that's the only thing I've noticed. And like I said, it's a US company. I cancelled my last VPS with them in October 2023. That's why I say I used them for 12 years, while it's 13 years ago I first encountered them. That's because I stopped promoting my web hosting business. So let's talk about the current plans they have for VPSs. So for the VPS plans, if you go on the website, you can see that they have managed VPS, they have unmanaged VPS, and they have NVMe VPSs. So we can go straight to the unmanaged VPS first of all, because that will be the cheapest of all of them. So if you go on the unmanaged VPS page, you can see right here the plans. You can see it has the smallest plan they have servers in different data centers. You can see one in Europe and in the United States. You have the entry VPS server, which is the smallest plan, going for $5. Then you have the entry plus going for $10, another one for $20. The entry plan is a 1 gig plan. So that's for, I think, for maybe a single website or something that's not resource intensive. So apart from the different packages under the unmanaged, you can see the different add-ons: Lightspeed, Softaculous, Jet Backup, Immunify, and Mail Channel. So you can see the different monthly and annual prices. So those add-ons are the same for all plans. For all the VPS plans, they are the same prices. So done with the unmanaged VPS. The next thing we will look at is the managed VPS plans. So the managed VPS plans are the normal VPS plans. You can see they have the data centers the same as the unmanaged plans, and the smallest plan is the basic VPS server, starting at $43.25 a month. Then you have the standard, the professional, and larger plans with higher limits. The smallest plan has about 4 gig of RAM, 75 gig of disk space. I think that's sort of what you can use to run maybe a couple of reseller accounts and a couple of, maybe if you want to, if you're maybe an agency or you have a lot of websites, you can use that. So you can see that they have practically the same add-on as the unmanaged VPS. And apart from that, today is the level of support that they give with the managed plans. So done with the managed plans. The next thing we'll talk about is the NVMe hosting. NVMe is it's a step higher than SSD. All their hosting plans have SSDs, but they have an option for NVMe, which is like SSD but a lot faster. So if you have maybe sites where you need very fast response or applications where you need very fast response, you go for the NVMe plans. They are slightly more expensive than the managed plans, and they are still managed. They come with either cPanel or direct admin. You can see the smallest plan starts at $47.25. Then there's the premium, the professional, the standard, and the extreme. The add-ons for the NVMe plans are the same as, like I said, for the managed and the unmanaged plans. So these are the options under the for the NVMe. I think they're trying to just explain the difference, the how much, why you would need an NVMe plan compared to the normal managed VPS. So that's about it for the VPS plans that they have. So the next thing I'll talk about are the pros and cons of the business. So you can just use this to make an informed decision on if you would like to go with them or not. So like I said, I no longer have a Knownhost VPS. I stopped using the VPS in October 2023. Currently, I have two reseller accounts because that's just for my personal websites, basically. And I think for the cons, we'll start with the cons. First of all, they have a higher range of prices than other similar hosting providers. But one thing I've seen is the quality is really good because I've not really had any huge complaints in over a decade, which is good, and it really helped my hosting company run flawlessly. Then I think apart from that too, I complained about the newer support operatives, but the problems I've complained about as have still been solved, at least in the last year or two. Then apart from that too, another con is that there are limited data centers. It's just I think the one in Europe is in Amsterdam. Then you have one in the US East Coast and one in the US West Coast. I think that's basically. Then I think one other thing too are limited payment options. So you just have ACH transfers, PayPal, and Stripe card payments processed through Stripe. So that might be an issue for some people who can't pay with any of those options. Then for the pros, I think from what I've said, we know a bit of those. You have the uptime. Uptime has been really good. It has been really stable. So if it's something that needs to be online all the time, this is something that might work for you. Apart from that, the security has been decent for especially for the managed options compared to when I started. Then apart from that, you have the knowledgeable support operatives because I've worked with a couple of other companies and you get turned around or you have to escalate issues before they get solved. But at least for this, most issues have been solved at the first by the first person who answered the support ticket. So for my recommendation, typically I prefer spending a bit more for peace of mind in everything I buy, which includes web hosting. So if you are that type of person, then you won't go wrong with known hosts. There's a link below, it's an affiliate link. There's a link below that you can buy and get a discount with. But apart from that, there are definitely a lot of cheaper options for VPS hosting you can use. I haven't really used any of them that much. I think I just use some for maybe storage or not really for anything mission critical. So I can't really give a review on those yet. And I haven't used any of them for 12 years like I've used known hosts. Then, but I think I would advise if you want to go with known host, then you should probably go through reviews on popular hosting websites to make your final decision, not just this. So you can go through host advice. Host Advice is a popular hosting review website. You can see it has a 4.9 on Host Advice. Then Trustpilot, so it has a lower rating on Trustpilot. So let's see the lowest rated reviews, the 1 and 2 star reviews. So I think I'll just play the 1 and 2 star reviews so you can go through them, see if they are valid enough, and make a decision if you would like to go with known hosts.